Hey everybody, welcome back. Monday Morning Briefing, episode number 101. It's October the 16th and it's actually a Monday. We got back last week. Apologize we didn't have a Monday video last week. I said I was going to on Friday. Friday just got away from me, but it took us Monday, Tuesday, and part of Wednesday just to get everything kind of reorganized back in the shop. We're working on the work area and the cut room this weekend, trying to just get stuff sorted out and see how this space is going to work going in the future for some possible workshops and things here in the shop. And so working on that. But the Wichita Falls Saddle Makers Roundup is where we were. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before. It was a great show. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But we got back in here, got some things set up. We've got a lot to discuss. One thing I wanted to bring up right quick is that I had somebody send me something and I kind of forgot about it. I had it open. It was really, really neat, and checked it out. And then I had it sitting right here on my bench, and I meant to bring it up about 3 or 4 Monday briefings ago or so, and I completely forgot. And so as we were cleaning, I saw it sitting right there, and I went, dang it, meant to do that. But I had a gentleman send me one of the neatest things that I think I've seen. One, it's like a little pencil holder here, but the really cool thing is he made this pencil thing. It's actually a pen, but it's made with leather rings. And so if you've ever noticed, like on a Barry King Mall, those handles are done with little round cutouts of leather stacked, and then they lathe, I guess they use a lathe, and they turn that down and make it where it's got a nice shape for a handle. He did the same thing on this pen here, and it is really, really cool. It's got a really nice hard, I guess a varnish or a finish on there. Just a really, really neat piece, something that's gonna go in we're working on trying to get some kind of little display case or something out there. I've got a lot of little things that you guys have sent over the years, just little keepsakes that I have stored back on a little shelf, and I want to get those out where people can see them. You know, I know where they are, but I also don't want them to walk off, so I want to try to get some of that set up. But he made this little leather case for it, and I want to apologize for not bringing it up 3 or 4 weeks ago when I got it. I don't remember exactly when that was, but it was really, really a neat gesture. Sent us a nice little note here with some other things in there, but I'm really excited about this. This is the first all leather pen that I've ever had, so I'd carry it with me and use it, but I'm too scared I'm gonna lose it. So I'd probably sit there in my office where I can use it, and I know it's not gonna walk off or wander off. So appreciate that. Thank you very much. You know who you are if you sent that to me. Had somebody else send here recently as well. A really nice young lady sent me a little thing here where she mocked up an idea, and she said, hey, feel free to use it, you know, if you want to do. And I've been working on something similar to this, and we'll probably try to do a little video, maybe this fall, maybe in the spring, but for a pocket slip, basically. Credit cards, maybe a little fold over of cash, just something really small and simple that you can carry in your pocket. And she did a really good job of patterning this up. She did T-pockets, not sure what kind, this is a veg leather, I'm not sure what type of veg leather, but she did a really, really nice job of patterning this up, and the size on it I think is good. It's really cool. A lot of you guys make some version of these, and so they are popular. And they're a great little item to have in your booth at a fair, you know, a little town square thing, even in your store, on your website, whatever. These things really do sell well. They make great gifts, stocking stuffers, things like that. So keep these, something like this in mind as we go into the Christmas season for utilizing some of that scrap, especially if you guys are using the goat skin that we recommend, that we use from Seloy Leather out there in El Paso. I've got boxes actually of just scrap goat skin that I didn't use it all for cutting out wallet pieces or whatever, so it's real handy because I can go over there and grab some of that. But that stuff will work really good for one of these real simple little pocket slips like this. So great idea. Thank you for sending me that, and with that will be a project video at some point. We'll come up with a version of that little pocket slip. Another thing, last week we did have, on Friday, we had our video post on the rope bag. We mentioned in the video, we've talked about it before, we already did a rope bag pattern, or rope bag video a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, but that one didn't have a pattern pack, and we did the gussets different. This one is the way, this video that we did just this past Friday that posted, that's the way I've done all my rope bags forever, and it's probably the simplest way to do the gusset system in there. There's a lot of other ways to do things, but that's how I do the rope bags. And we also launched the pattern pack. So if you missed that on Friday, these pattern packs are available on the website. This is pattern number 1. So there's this one floral tooling pattern in there. It's got all the cut patterns for your gusset and measurements for your hangers, all the stuff that you need in order to build a single or a double compartment rope bag. Good pattern pack. It's been doing really well. People have been really excited about it, and I'm excited to see some of y'all try these. Had somebody, Maker's Leather Supply called me the other day and was asking, they had a customer in that had bought the pattern pack, was going to build one, called them to get their leather, and was wondering what weight of leather, because the video hadn't posted. They were on our newsletter list. And so they got the early access to the pattern before we actually posted the video. And so she was, I think it was a lady, just ready to go, ready to get started on making one of these, and didn't know what weight of leather to use. You can probably make this out of 910, and it would probably be okay. I think that's a little light. I would stay around that 10 to 12 ounce range. I build mine, the one I build in the video is that, and I talk about in the video, it's 13, 15 ounce skirting leather. Same stuff I build the saddles out of. And so it's a nice full thickness, nice and firm. It's gonna hold up good. It makes the bag a little heavy, so if you wanted to lighten that up, you could do a 12 ounce saddle skirting. There's no problem in doing that. But I've got 13, 15, so that's what I use. I have seen people use 910 and then line that with a like a 3-4 ounce, just like you would on a belt. Makes a nice rope bag too. I think it's obviously it's going to be a lot more leather. You know, 3-4 and 910, they cost the same, so you're doubling up on how much leather you're having to put into that bag. So keep that in mind. But anyway, you just want something nice and heavy that's going to hold up, because this is a very large bag. But if you're interested in building a rope bag, that pattern is up on the website. You can certainly go and grab that. It is available in digital, but it's a large format. So if you're here in the US, buy the printed one, because you're gonna have to take that somewhere and have it printed. It's a big sheet of paper. So it's actually 3 big sheets of paper. And I apologize for my voice, guys. We've gotten a little cold front that came through. Obviously, I'm wearing a hoodie today. We're thoroughly enjoying the cool weather down here in South Texas. And but with that northern kind of blowing in, or a little cool front that came through, blew something in, so I'm battling a little cold or something right now. But we also launched the Breezy Clutch. This is one of our companion pattern packs that we're doing with Maker's Leather Supply. And this is the, if you have the Breezy Clutch acrylic templates from Aaron and them, then this pattern pack will fit those. There's 10 different tooling patterns in here to make this clutch. You could probably modify these for another clutch pattern that you might have, but it's a really good pattern pack. It's been doing well. We've gotten good feedback on it as well, but like I said, there's 10 patterns in there. So now we're up to 2. We've got the Billfold and Billfold 2.0 pattern pack available on the website with Makers on our website, but it's in conjunction with them. This is a collaboration with them, as well as the Breezy Clutch now. So if you're looking for that, or you've been wanting to do some of Aaron's Breezy Clutches with a little tooling on them, we've got those pattern packs available. So that's just some of the new stuff that's kind of going on in the shop. Like I said, we're getting ready for the fall season and things, and so we're glad to be back, glad to be here, and getting our shop kind of organized and ready to go. We had a great time at the Wichita Fall Saddle Makers Roundup. It was a lot of fun. I hadn't been to that show in quite some time, and so I got to see some old friends that I hadn't seen in years, and that was great. The saddle competition was phenomenal. They had, I don't remember the number of saddles they had, but I want to say it was better than 20 saddles in there. And it was really good, and everybody that built saddles in that thing, I was just really impressed with the quality of work, from the beginners all the way up to the open floral. It was really good. Terry Henson ended up winning the open floral division. His saddle was phenomenal. You probably saw pictures of it if you're on Facebook or Instagram. He's posted pictures of that. That saddle was something to see in person, and I didn't realize it. I saw his pictures online, but I didn't realize it until I saw the saddle in person. But he had used, I guess it was a black sheepskin or a brown. The sheepskin was not orange like it usually is. It was actually a dark, like charcoal color. It was very pretty, and I've got to bend to zero on where he got that, because that was a nice touch. It was a really cool looking saddle. It turned out really good. A friend of mine that become a friend, he's come into the shop quite a bit and travels a lot for work and things, and he won the novice division for the boot show, or the saddle show, and I was really proud of him. He did a really good job. I think he's a handful of saddles in, so he's not really a beginner, but he was able to enter the novice there, and did a great job on that saddle. Everybody that competed there, everybody that brought a saddle, I talked to a few of y'all that were, a few of them that were there, and did a great job. It's good to see more guys coming in and wanting to build saddles, wanting to learn that craft, because building a saddle is kind of for me, it's kind of the pinnacle of leathercraft, because any portion of leathercraft, from upholstery, boot making, tooling, every aspect of leathercraft can potentially be in a saddle. And so it's like an entire system of leathercraft in one finished product. And so it's neat to see folks wanting to take that step and get into something that's that involved, because saddle is a very long process. It's a very involved process. There's a lot going on. You're dealing with a horse and a rider, much less the aesthetics of the saddle. So there's a lot going on there. So it's really cool to see everybody wanting to, or a lot of people wanting to get into building saddles. Some of y'all just admire saddles. You have no intention of ever trying to build one, but you admire the craftsmanship that goes into them. I'm the same way with carpentry, and compared to building houses. I like to build and fool around with wood and build some things and benches and things like that around the house, but I don't think I could ever undertake a actually complete house. So that's one of those deals. But it was really neat. It was a lot of fun. The show was good. I think they had a really good turnout. Like I said, they had some great vendors there. We were able to get a lot of stuff that we need for the fall, including chap leather and some chrome tan leathers, some supplies. That show is really geared towards the professional craftsman. There's, it's open to anybody. If you're just a first-time leather worker and you just want to go check it out, put it on your books for next year for the Wichita Falls Saddle Makers Boot and Saddle Makers Roundup. It's really a good quality show. Just like the other shows that are out there, the one at Waco, Sheridan, Prescott. But this show, there's a lot of folks that go to this one, especially Texas craftsmen and things. They go there and they get all their material for their Christmas season and possibly going into the spring for next year. So they're there buying a lot of leather, a lot of nails, a lot of supplies. The boot makers especially, they're able to put their hands on their lining leather, their vamp leathers, their exotics. There's just a lot of neat stuff there, and it's a great place to save on some shipping and actually be able to put your hands on the leather, because most of the time we're ordering over the phone or on the internet. We're letting somebody pick our stuff and hoping that, and usually you get pretty good stuff, but it's nice to be able to pick it out yourself, kind of go through those sides, go through those pieces and pick out what you need. One of the things that we did come home with, it was Claudia's birthday last Monday, so at the show I had already put a call in with Erin to Leather Machine Co., and she's been wanting to build more bags. This is one of her bags here. She did the duffel bag class with Erin at Waco this year, and we've already shown you the one she built in the class. Showed that on a Monday briefing a while back, but this one she built this past week. And it's this one's all out of like a heavy oil tan leather here. She had this leather here that had a brand in it. It happens to be a G, and so she cut that out for the pocket, save that brand on there. This bag's for her, and so it was just something to get her mind refreshed. This is her third duffel bag that she's made. She made one right when we got back from Waco and gave it to a friend, and then she made this one. The thing that makes this one different is we had put a call in, like I said, to Leather Machine Co., because I know she's getting into wanting to make more bags. She really enjoys it, and so I decided that if we're going to do a lot of bags, I don't want to have to hand skive all those edges and seams, and you don't do a really good job. It's hard to do really well by hand, and so I took Erin's advice, and we ended up getting an MP4 skiver and from Leather Machine Co. I was excited about the skiver, but I was kind of like, well, it'll be cool. She can use it, no big deal. That machine has been a game changer in my shop in just the last week. There's so much that you can do with that machine, and as we go forward, I'll probably do a video on this machine on some of the things that I've learned. Not necessarily, like I tell you all the time, I'm not a mechanic, so I'm not going to get into like all the ins and outs of how the machine, how to adjust it and do all that, because I still haven't figured all that out. But I'm going to show you some of what that machine does. I'll show you that machine here in a minute. But I was really impressed with how well that machine works on chrome tan leathers, oil tans, even some light duty veg. It will actually do some on there. It's just a really cool machine. So I feel like that machine's going to be one of the main machines in this shop that we'll put to use on a daily basis. It's already been on and running every day since we've been in here. Every time I pick up something that I would normally go and hand skive, I remember it's there and I just go over there and it takes it and it does what it needs to do. I've had some questions. I did talk about that in the newsletter. I'll let everybody know that we'd be talking about the MP4 skiver because I have had in the past people ask why I don't have one in my shop because they are so versatile. I've just always figured like I didn't need one, that I'm fine without it. As a saddle maker, everything I'm working with is veg. So the question that I've gotten 2 or 3 of those emails asking, Why didn't you get I think it's MP10, it's the bigger one, it's the top and bottom feed skiver. Why didn't you get that one instead of the MP4? Because the MP4 is only designed really for your softer chap type leathers and chrome tans. Because I work with so much veg, why wouldn't I have gotten the bigger one? That's kind of a two-part question, two-part answer. One is because I knew I'm getting this machine for Claudia because she's gonna do the bags. And so most of her work is gonna be, you know, on chrome tan type leathers, chap leathers, and any kind of veg work, I can skive it just exactly where I need it. I can do what I need to do on that. I've got a splitter already. I've got everything I need for veg, and I didn't understand the impact that this machine does have in a shop. And so I wasn't really worried about it. Also, the MP4 is a little cheaper than the other one. Again, if you're gonna buy one, why not buy the bigger one, right? It's kind of like the 26 versus the 4. I think both are better. But if you got to get only one and you think you ever may do some real heavy stitching, and then the 4 is probably a better route so that you have to upgrade later. But same thing here. I thought, well, we'll get this one. It'll work great for the chap leathers. But also, if you remember back last year, I mentioned that we have a top feed, bottom feed, heavy skiver. It's a skiver. It's an old Fortuna that I got give to me by a friend, and I bought a servo motor for it from another friend of mine, and I have it all sitting back there. We've talked about maybe rebuilding and doing all that. I haven't done anything with that machine because I've never even run one of these skivers. So I was very kind of cautious about that machine and kind of doubtful that I understood it enough to even begin to try to mess with it. And so I've just kind of forgotten about it. It's been off in the corner in the shop. Haven't done anything with it. When we got this machine in here, I went back there and started looking at that machine, and I thought, well, now I know how to run this one. Now I know the impact of this one over here. So anyway, yesterday was Sunday, I spent all day yesterday cleaning that machine. I put the servo motor on it. I had to shorten the belt because the motor's different now. Put a new another belt on there, got everything set up, and it works. And I was told that it worked. I didn't doubt him, I just hadn't fooled with it, but it worked great, and it works on heavy veg. I put 13, 15 ounce veg tan leather through there, and so I'm very excited about that machine. So I'm gonna show y'all both of these machines. We're gonna talk about them. So that's another reason why I got the MP4, because I thought I've already got a heavy one. If I can get it running, then I've got one. There's no need to have two, or have two of the same one. And so we went ahead and started out with this machine. Luckily that one works. Now we've got one of each. And so the shop is set up now for veg as well as the oil tan stuff. But really good machine. Let me grab the GoPro and I'm gonna take you to both those machines and show those to you real quick. All right, here's the MP4. This is the new one we got from Leather Machine Co. Real quick, I'll give you a little quick rundown on here what I've learned. Like I said, I'm not a mechanic. I don't know everything about this machine yet, but it works straight from them. They brought it down to Wichita Falls. We picked it up there, brought it home, plugged it in, started skiving stuff. So if you're gonna buy a new machine, getting one from somebody that gets them all tuned up, they're ready to rock, you don't really have to mess with anything. Then as they, you get some get familiar with them a little bit, they will also help you adjust anything that you need or anything like that. Their customer service is amazing. But they didn't even give me a rundown before I left because we were so busy in the booth and stuff. I never really got a chance to get with them. So we had to kind of figure it out from Aaron's video on just the basic usage of the machine, which is pretty straightforward and pretty easy. But you've got a pressure foot right here, and that is going to hold the material down against the ball that's underneath there. This shiny bell here, that is actually your knife. That's actually doing the cutting. This machine does come with a number of different presser feet when you buy it. Haven't quite figured out exactly. I have an idea on what those do, but we haven't really fooled with that much. We've just been using it as it is. It's got a servo motor on it, so you have complete control of the speed. You can go really slow, you can give it more gas and go really fast. You can turn the machine up and down just like any other servo motor. It's got a guide here, so if you want to run along your guide so that you're skiving the exact same amount, you can certainly do that. And so this is just a piece of oil tan chap leather here, and I'm just going to put this in there. And we have taken that down to almost paper thin. I mean, that's super thin right there. If you wanted to do a nice rolled edge on your wallet pockets or something, this obviously is too thick for a wallet pocket, but you can adjust that machine for whatever material that you're working with. This knob up here, you can raise it up. That raises the presser foot up and kind of changes the tension on there, so the thickness of the skive. And so as you can see, that one didn't take off quite as much. And so that would be a nice little fold over there for whatever application you're doing. Just a really nice machine and nice addition to the shop. Like I said, I would normally in the past avoid projects and things that we were doing if it required us to skive around this edge. And if you notice in the rope bag video, I was really wishing I'd have done the rope bag after we got this machine, because you can really make that gusset really fit in there much better and much more clean if you've got a width skived off. You don't even have to take off that much, just taking off enough so that it makes that turn. It'll really make your gussets fit better, whether you're doing a seam where you're going to turn the bag right side out, when you sew it inside out and then turn it back right side out. It'll make those seams much better. If you're doing just an applied gusset that's sewn and you're going to see the edge, it's going to make that much better. It's also going to glue better. When you can take that off on this oil tan especially, this stuff doesn't glue up really bad. It glues up fairly well for even being oil tan. But some of your oil tans, there's too much oil on the back side of the leather, and so your glue doesn't stick. If you can run it through a bell skiver and take off just a little layer, that right there will allow that glue to stick a little better when you go to putting that gusset in. It'll also make your turns much easier. If you're going around a curve, that being thinner than the rest of the body of your gusset is going to allow that to turn a lot better. So this machine, like I said, is it a must in any shop? Probably not, but if you're going to be doing a lot of bags and a lot of work where you're needing to do a lot of skiving, especially on chrome tan type leathers, oil tans, chap leathers, chrome tans, you're going to want to have something that'll do that efficiently, and doing it by hand is just really cumbersome and hard to be efficient at and consistent. Like I said, 20 years in this business, I've never had one of these in my shop. Now that I have it, I don't know if I'll go forward without having one running in my shop, because it really has changed the way I approach projects. It changed the way, my fear of putting in a welt in something, or doing a bag that we invert, that we turn right side out when we're done building it. It changes the style of the gusset systems that you can put into bags. It just gives you that ability, because now you can efficiently and consistently make those seams the way you want them, instead of fighting it by hand and trying to get them just right. And so just something to think about. If you're doing a lot of bags, doing a lot of that type of work, the MP4 is something to really check out. I'm really happy with this machine. I'm kind of disappointed I waited so long. Aaron made a comment in his video that he would almost have one of these before he'd have a sewing machine. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I'm kind of on the boat there in a way, because I do not like spending time trying to hand skive stuff. That's why a lot of our projects, we've limited the type of project that we do, because I don't want to have to get into trying to do welting and things like that, which we've done on some projects on our videos, but you've seen us have to hand skive that stuff, and it really makes for a much more difficult project to do. So now let's go check out the other one that we fixed up, and that one is for the heavy veg. All right, so we're back here in the workshop. This thing was really dirty. It had a lot of grease on it. This machine was in a fire. And it wasn't actually in the fire, but it got a lot of smoke damage, and they put a lot of water on that building to put it out. And so this machine got a lot of water on it, and then they doused it in oil to keep it from locking up. And I put this machine, I shared a little video on my stories yesterday, but I had just put the servo motor on here. I haven't mounted the switch or anything, so we're just kind of plugged in with an extension cord right now. But I put it on there and hooked the belt up and everything, and just gave her a spin, and she worked right from the start. So there's nothing locked up on this machine. Even the sharpening stones, I was able to sharpen this blade after we cleaned it up and everything. I did a little sharpening on it, and so it's working out really good. Everything is loose and working. I think on this particular machine, this presser foot handle may be a little wore out. I've got to research that. I put a couple phone calls in to find out why that's not staying down. It was before, but it was probably so dirty and gunked up, it just friction kept it down, but now it kind of pops up, so I've been having to hold that with my hand. But this is a top and bottom feed machine, and so you've got your ball on the bottom that's pulling your work through, and you've also got this top roller here, and you can, from what I've researched, you can get these rollers in different shapes for different types of skiving, and you can easily change those out. We've also got our guide here that, again, is just going to say how far in you want to skive. You can move that out of the way if you're just skiving down the middle of something, and kind of do that. But this machine, since it's a top and bottom feed, it will have no problem skiving heavier veg tan. This is a piece of 9/10 ounce. I got to get it adjusted just a little bit better and learn exactly how to get that ball adjusted in the blade and get it all kind of tuned up. Because the heavy skirting I put may have just been too hard of a piece, but I did have a little issue with that. But this 910 seems to go through there just fine. Now, like I said, I do have to hold this down and figure out why that's not staying down. But and as you can see there, it just made a nice little tapered skive right there. And I can go down just a little bit further and get more of a feathered edge on there. And so there it's down to almost nothing. Now where that's going to come in really handy, especially with saddles, is going to be when I get all my ground seat pieces cut out, when I get horn parts cut out, things like that. I can do a long, nice taper down to nothing around the outside edge instead of having to waste razor blades and waste my my arm, work out there trying to get all that taken off. We can just initially knock those edges off, and then we're ready to glue those into the tree and start whittling on our ground seats. But all in all, like I said, this thing is it's working fine. It seems like the blade is still sharp, and it's doing a really good job. I've just got to learn how to adjust it a little bit, and probably needs a good oiling. Now that it's kind of clean, I can go through there and oil parts that need to be oiled. From what I've been told, I can get all the parts I need for this, including a new blade, a new ball. You can do all that stuff as need to. I don't know that it needs anything right now. This blade is considerably narrower than the brand new blade in the MP4, and I'm sure that's from use. This machine was in a factory, and so it got used quite a bit. And so I'm sure it's just been sharpened so much it's just getting thinner. Now, I don't know exactly when you're supposed to replace those, but I'll find all that out. But I'm glad to have this machine running instead of just sitting over there on the wall collecting dust and staying in the way. I've got to get the switch mounted onto a table somewhere where it's safe and handy, and then find a place for this thing to live. I don't know if I want it back here. I probably will, just because this one is probably not one Claudia will use a whole lot. This one will probably just be when I cut out saddle parts and different things. I can come over here and do my skiving. Very versatile machine, very neat. Like I said, if you're going to get, if you're on the fence on getting the MP4 or the bigger one that Leather Machine Co. sells, the bigger one like this is more money, obviously, but it will also do your oil tan and chrome tans and things like that. But if you're not messing with a lot of veg tan for your projects, then I would probably just go with the MP4. But that's just me initially right now. Like I said, I've had it a week, and so we're just kind of going from there. But they're very, very neat machines. We're glad to have this one running. All right, guys, so that's both those skivers. Like I said, it's Aaron was laughing at me. He said you went 20 years without even one skiver in your shop, and now you've got two in less than a week. It was he was surprised that I even had that machine. I don't know if I ever mentioned to him that I had it. It was just sitting back there, the old one, and I just kind of honestly forgot about it because I was just too apprehensive to even mess with it. But it's cool to have them in here. Like I said, I know not every shop can justify having a machine like that just does that one thing. But I would probably say if you're doing a lot of bags, like we mentioned, I mean, if you're having to do a lot of skiving, I think it's probably one of the deals you probably need to consider and try to maybe work towards that direction at some point, because it will be a big game changer. It's like going from hand stitching and then to finally getting a sewing machine and really seeing the benefit of that on how much time that saves you. But anyway, they're in the shop. We've got to reorganize the layout here. I've been stewing over it ever since we got back from Wichita Falls, because I'm excited about coming into the fall. I'm excited about 2024, trying to get things kind of moving, and I want to start having our little workshops here in Moulton and doing a few of those throughout the year just for people that are interested in coming. And so that's what we're going to work on this week a little bit. We are working on some more project videos as we come into towards the end of October here, to keep that stuff going. But I also want to get this shop kind of a little bit better organized, a little more efficient, and because it doesn't look right now like we have much option for more square footage in downtown. So until that happens, I can't wait for that to happen. I just need to go ahead and make the space we have work, and sometimes that's hard for all of us to, it's hard to make yourself say, well, I'm just going to deal with the space that I have and make it work either way. Because if I wait until we have enough square footage, that no telling when that's going to happen. So we're not going to wait on that. I've had a lot of people call and want to come down for, you know, a workshop or something, and that kind of deal. And so I want to be able to offer that, like we've said before, as far as for next year, at least some small schedule of a few workshops. If that's all we start with, that's fine, but we've got to get the ball rolling. One neat thing, Aaron and them, I've seen them use these at makers at their shop, at shows, during classes. I've seen other of you guys use these online, just little roller cutters. Never had one of these either, and Claudia wanted to order one of these because she's got the acrylics for some of these bags that she's making, and it's just much easier just to run across there. Again, I'm stuck in my old ways. I use scissors, I use a knife, I use my little razor blades. So anyway, we ordered one of these off Amazon, and it's a Fisker brand, and it works great. I've been picking this thing up more than anything else just when I'm cutting out chrome tans. It's just much easier to keep things straight, especially if you're just cutting out big rectangles or big squares, pockets, whatever. It works really good. And it doesn't work too bad on curves, too, if you kind of take your time and kind of learn to use the knife. Anyway, she's ordered 2 or 3 more because the kids can use these too. They're at the age where here in the shop they want to start making more projects. We also we worked on making the children's backpack that Aaron has the pattern for. We made a couple of those, and the kids got to each make one. And of course, I did most of the sewing and stuff like that on it, but we helped them. But it was nice with these because they can actually, as long as they keep their hand back, you know, they're learning knife etiquette where they can actually kind of use this to cut out some of the pieces. Because they're not quite at the age yet to go using a round knife, especially, or a trim knife. So scissors and this is about what we're letting them do, but that gives them a lot more range in the shop to where they can begin to cut out a few little projects on their own, and I don't have to cut everything out for them because they don't get to use the clicker either. So they don't, and we don't have patterns for everything on the clicker, so they just get to use that. But these are really cool. If you haven't tried one of these, they're worth it. Just buy one, put it in your shop. Have it in a drawer, and you'll find yourself using it quite a bit. We've ordered 2 or 3 more of these to have around, just to, you know, if you only have one, you have none. So you might as well have 2 or 3 of those knives because you'll misplace one or whatever. But anyway, guys, that's a lot. I know this has been a busy Monday video, but I wanted to go over kind of what all happened. I want to thank everybody that came into the booth at Wichita Falls. We really enjoyed getting to meet you, getting to see you again if we've seen you before at Waco or any of the other shows. It's always a good time to see old friends and make new friends at these shows, and we're excited for 2024 and the shows that we're going to go to and what we're going to be doing next year, and we're glad to be back in the shop. Excited for fall. Y'all start getting ready for Christmas. Start getting it on your mind. Get your list going of supplies that you might need, even things that you might be getting at the hardware store. Start your little list of things that you might need, you know, even down to Q-tips and anything else. We've done a video on kind of the oddball things that I keep in my shop, tape and duct tape and different things, and for different applications and things. Those are things when you're at the hardware store picking up one thing, go ahead and grab those, and that way you're not having to stop in your shop when you decide, okay, I need this one thing. So start stocking up for Christmas, getting ready to go, and be sure to leave yourself a little bit of range in your list. Don't overbook yourself so that you're not stressed out and strung out for Christmas time. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see y'all next week in the Monday morning briefing.